Is Mr. Where the heck is the FTM paper? I left to your house yesterday. Were we out and about yesterday? It was nice out. Alright.
I don't sit inside the house.
No? Okay. Alright, so it's basically, you know, what I told you about the FTM. It's the goal, number one, is for you to be reunified with her. Goal number one, we're going to talk about, you know, some things that could go wrong. We're going to go over all this, okay? And, like I said, he is more than welcome to come and, you know, he's going to have his own separate FTM. In court, honestly, we'll probably know a little bit more when you go back next week of what services they're going to court order you to do. Because we can recommend, and you can, you know, go with it or not go with it right now.
I'm already in a lot of services.
You are? Okay. Just the ABH and the SAI, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I don't know if they're going to want...
My week is full.
What'd you say?
Now my week is full.
What do they have you doing?
SAI got me going to John Brooks, even though John Brooks don't consider I need to be there. I have to go there 3 days a week and then turn around and still come up to ABH. So
they're probably not going to have you do a sub-eval, I'm guessing, because you're already in substance abuse treatment. And then how many days...
They don't do substance abuse evaluations. John Brooks.
No, they don't do them. We do them, and then we usually refer to John Brooks or refer to Crossroads or refer if it's inpatient. That's what the substance abuse evaluation is for, but you're already in treatment, so there'd be no reason for us to do that, you know what I mean? How many days a week are you going to ABH?
Just one for therapy.
Just one? Okay. Now, is Mr. Nelson doing anything? Like, what's going on with him?
He has to work.
Okay.
That's the only way we get them separate bills that welfare is not paying for.
Right.
Paid.
Okay. So let's just go down the list. So the purpose of the family team meeting, you know, is to talk about your case plan. What services that we feel that you would benefit from. Obviously, I told you the goal is reunification with Donica. And this is basically, like I said, to get everybody on the same page. So that way your worker, your permanency worker, knows what the ABH worker knows, what the SAI worker knows, what the John Brooks worker knows. You know what I mean? So there's no disconnects. So that one worker's not telling you something and the other worker's trying to tell you something and you're trying to do, you know, they're telling you to do two different things.
I told them pretty much the whole story and showed them all the complaints and the paperwork, and they're all confused.
Who?
Everybody.
That's something that will go on at the family team meeting. Whatever confusion is going on, like I said, now the courts are involved. We can recommend you all day, but it really comes down to what's in that court order. It'll literally say your name, Mr. Nelson's name, and it'll list services, okay? And you've been through this process before, so
yeah,
you know.
Failed me.
But have you ever done a family team meeting before?
Yes.
You have? We didn't have them back in 2005.
We did.
We did? Okay. Well, regardless, the goal is reunification with her. Regardless, okay? As long as you're doing what you need to do and you're doing your services, what grounds do we have to say that you're not trying?
What grounds was it for you to take her?
You know why. Like I said, we've already been through that. I don't want to touch that. We've already hit rock bottom with her. It can't get any worse. The only thing you can do is get it together so when this baby comes out, you have them both. You know what I mean? That's the ultimate goal, right?
I guess.
It is. It's not, I guess it is. You want everybody together. And that, I can see it in your face, that's what you want. And I know you're upset. But, like I said, this is what, you know, we've been through it.
Because don't nobody understand our point of view of the situation. Y'all wasn't around in July.
That's not my, you know, like I explained to you before, unfortunately I can't be, this is my supervisor, Melanie. Unfortunately, you know, I can't, you know, decide when people call us and when we respond. We respond when somebody makes a call to us. So, you know, the situation that happened in July, unfortunately, it came to light with us when we became involved in November. So.
Yeah, honestly, they should have called us then. They dropped the ball.
You know.
Oh, y'all should talk to the county there.
And like I said, Now that the courts are involved, you have your defender. You can, you know, you can use him to your advantage. That is, you have your conversations with and everything like that. And, you know, like I was saying before, we will recommend you services, but whatever's in that court order, that's a non-negotiable. That's what that means. It means we can't change it, you can't change it. That's something in the court order that has to be done. Okay, just like we have to give you visits once a week for 2 hours, that's something that has to be done on our end because it's in the court order. If it says that you need to have a psychological evaluation.
Already done.
You already had a psych eval?
Yep.
Through who?
ABH did it yesterday.
You did?
Good.
Mm-hmm. There you go. That's one thing that is already checked off the list then. Who did the psych eval?
I don't know how to pronounce her name.
Try.
Doctor. Series.
Is she downstairs?
Yeah.
Okay.
But that's okay though, because we'll talk about that in the family team meeting, and it will actually be Lori will want to find out more of that information, which I'm sure you can share with Lori now anyway. So don't worry about getting too much information from her. Just go through what it's going to be like.
Well, I already told her the purpose of the family team meeting, and you know,
sorry,
what
John's late.
no, it's fine. And what the ultimate goal is with, you know, reunification with Donica. But she's skeptical because of, you know, the 3 times before in the past. She said she's been through family team meetings before. To my knowledge, they're kind of new.
We didn't do them like this in the past. Our agency has changed quite a bit, and you might not think so because of the experience that you've had thus far. But the way that we work with families has changed quite a bit since 2007. So, you know, I mean, and I've been here that whole time, so I've seen it change. Actually, yesterday was my 11-year anniversary. So I've seen the changes, and I've seen the way that we work with families change. It's a good thing the way that we've changed. A family team meeting is just a fancy name for a meeting to get together with you and us and whatever supports you decide to invite, whether we can do it just with you, we can do it with anybody you want.
Except Mr. Nelson.
Except Mr. Nelson. But that's our way to get on the same page. For us to say, okay, we're going to do this, you're going to do this, and we're going to come back together, and we're going to talk about it again.
And you have to understand something. When we say we're going to do something, we have to hold up our end of the deal just as much as you do. Like I was saying, those visits, we can't drop the ball with them. They're court order. They have to happen. Just like whatever happens next week in that court order, that is something that has to happen. That's a non-negotiable. We can't change it. We can't alter it. We can't say, well, what else could we do? That is court ordered. That is something that has to happen. And when it says the confidentialities, anything that's said in that family team meeting is your business. It stays in that room. It does not leave that room. It does not get talked to anybody else. It is your business. It is your plan. It is what we're going to do to get, you know, Donica back in the home, and obviously when you have baby. So those are some things that we can't, you know, even change or alter with the non-negotiables. Do you have anything you want to comment about that? Okay. What it means by ground rules is in the meeting you can set any ground rules you want. Whether it's, you know, you want to be the only one, I don't even know. Ground rules like...
Well, I mean, so everybody that's going to be there, whether, and again, I don't know who you're thinking about having as your team, but maybe we all have a cell phone. We want to shut our cell phone off so that, you know, this meeting gets our full attention, or we all respect each other. We're all honest. You know, it's important for us all to be honest, because if we're not, then this meeting is kind of useless.
I would like y'all to be honest.
Right, because we're not going to tell you anything that's not true, okay? Even the hard stuff, we're not going to tell you something and sugarcoat it, because whatever needs to be done, it's got to get done. There's no getting around it. There's no anything like that. So we're going to tell you the truth, whether it's hard or anything like that, but we want to try everything that we can do so that reunification does happen with
Can
her.
I ask y'all something?
Go ahead.
Because since it was kind of ironic that Bud situation came up, did you ever look back and see if Donica had Bud in her system?
Had who?
Did she have Bud in her system when I gave birth to her?
That is not even, that has nothing to do with why the removal happened.
No.
It has nothing to do with it.
So, give me the exact reason why the removal happened.
Okay, so when I saw your history and I saw that you're smoking marijuana, I was like, okay, you know, I think this is something we can work with, because you're already going to Atlantic Care. You were, you went to SAI for help. Like, you were doing what you needed to do. We're always a little bit more cautious, though, when rights are terminated in the past. Not so, but I wasn't going to take your daughter. I wasn't going to do anything. Like, that wasn't my intention.
We just wanted to make sure you were only positive for marijuana.
I wanted to make sure you weren't using anything else. So then when Emily came back, you know, she had a list of questions that we talked about.
Find out who said no except for one.
I said, find out who the father is. Does she have support? That whole thing. So she came back, and actually, I've dealt with Mr. Nelson in the past before. So as soon as she told me who it was, I knew who he was. But she said, Melanie, there's no domestic violence between them. He told me there's not. You know, he's very honest and open about his past. I said, okay, cool. I said, well, let me just run a background check on him.
Oh, because he never got charged or anything. I dropped the charge because we...
It doesn't... all right, listen, we're not going to talk about that because we can't change the past.
I want to talk about it because that's what the main issue is.
Okay, well, you had black eye, swollen lip, a cut on your lip, and your baby was in your arms when he hit you.
And obviously, we have overcame all of that.
It can happen again.
I know. We don't care about that situation that happened in July.
And it's awesome that you're moving past it. It's awesome that you're moving past it.
Is our daughter right now. We just lost our son. We fought for 2.5 years for this little boy. We just lost him in less than a month. Y'all come in and snatch our daughter.
That wasn't the intention.
The only
and you know
safety
that.
blanket that both of us have. We wake up every morning to this little girl and you snatch her away.
Okay, well, I'm going to tell you that my concern is that you don't recognize how that affected Adonica, and that it's going to mean that the future doesn't change.
Does it look like it affected her? Does it look like it affected her?
Have you ever seen children get killed because of domestic violence before? When things escalate and continue?
I know
Domestic
how
violence is a very serious thing.
the bad people, how they beat the hell out their kids, they starve their kids and everything, and y'all don't do shit.
Well, we're not worried about them right now. We're sitting here with you and we're talking to you about your family.
Yes. And that's the focus that needs. Adonica needs to be your focus.
That has been my focus.
Exactly.
Since she's been born.
Okay.
She was born normal.
And we had this conversation when you and I had the visit. Because if Mr. Nelson drops the ball and doesn't want to do his stuff, that is still your daughter, and that is still somebody you have to fight for because she is yours. And you have baby boy coming. These are two children that you are mom, and the goal is reunification with them. Not any other goal. We're not making up another goal. The goal is reunification, and we are going to do every step to make sure that she gets back into your care, okay? But I had the ask for timeline talk with you is, as soon as that removal happens, it's 15 to 22 months to get these services done. It doesn't have to be that long. It shouldn't be that long at all, but we give parents that amount of time because you'd be surprised how many parents just give up, okay? And that's not something that we see you doing. We see how much it affects you that you lost Donica, but she's not gone forever. She doesn't have different parents. You are still mom, and he is still dad.
Yeah, she does have different parents. She's sitting with my boys that I've lost years ago.
And unfortunately, I can't do anything about that. The parental rights have already been terminated with the 3 other boys, and that is something, that cannot be undone. That's a non-negotiable. That can't be undone. As far as Donica, absolutely. So that's why we have this family team meeting to focus on you, Mom, and Donica.
And how to move forward. Because whether you agree with us or not, the court made a decision, and it's ordered. And it's not going to change.
The court only made the decision because he didn't show up because of you forcing his warrant.
Miss Horne.
Not because of
Miss Horne. He was in your house that whole weekend. You have to stop blaming us. It's not Emily's fault.
He's my backbone. Okay, I don't crumble.
He can be Miss Horne. He absolutely positively.
Obviously, he can.
But listen to me. Will you listen to me? Because you keep cutting me off and you want to blame us for everything. But the point of this is for us to come together and figure out with you how this can all change, and we can move forward, and you and Mr. Nelson can continue a relationship, and you can get Donica back, and by the time you have this new baby, everything's going to be great. You're not going to be positive for marijuana, and you're going to have your family. So, but you need to work with us. Whether you hate us or not, you need to work with us.
Yeah, I definitely do.
And that's fine. And that is your opinion. And I'm not going to take it personally because I had nothing to do with you in the past. And I apologize if the decisions that I made with my supervisor and my manager upset you. And I do apologize about that. But I did what I felt I needed to do. And the court backed it up. So I'm okay with the decisions I made. Okay? And you're okay with the decisions you made because Donica was okay. So what we need to do is, and I understand why you want to understand what happened and why you're angry, but we can't change it. All we can do is move forward and figure out how to get us the heck out of your life because that's what you want. Right? But we can't do that if you're not willing to work with us and have a mutual, respectful relationship with us.
Where's my respect?
Have I sat here and disrespected you 1 second in this room?
You disrespected me when you came into my house after you seen there was no neglect.
I'm do you feel like this meeting is going to be beneficial to you, or are we going to continue to talk about the past? Because this meeting is moving forward.
Because the complaint does not say anything about neglect, abuse of the child.
Actually, domestic violence is a form of neglect.
And what part of your services that you'll understand is how serious domestic violence is, given Mr. Nelson's past and his past domestic violence relationships and how it's affecting now you.
I got a past too.
Exactly. And we weren't even judging you on on what happened in your past.
Obviously, I did
know
because
that.
y'all put it directly in front and forward. That was the first thing in my.
Because it's part of your history.
It's fact, Miss Horne. It's fact.
That's part of your family story. That is a part of the family team meeting where you can talk about, you will have the floor to talk about what happened, for instance, with day one when you had your first son, to your second son, to your third son, and how you felt. And that a group of people will be sitting in there listening, your permanency worker who will be working with you throughout the whole process.
And I had 3 separate diapers workers that put me in the ground.
But like I said, this is a new time. You have to focus on.
But no, wait, hold on a second. This family story part is very important for you because, first of all, we don't have access to a lot of records of what happened back then. I don't know if somebody gave up on you. I don't know if somebody stopped contacting you. I don't know what happened back then. And what's really important is for us to understand, from your point of view, what did happen.
I consider my first and the last diapers worker didn't have no hope. My second diapers worker, she actually got taken off the case because she decided, you can have your kids back. I'm going to help you get this apartment. I'm going to sign the lease. That'll be your second. What you going? And once they realized she had did all of that, they took her off my case. Then come the third diapers worker that just annihilated me. She got me fired from my jobs because she wouldn't keep the exact visitations due to the days that I had off. So I got fired from my job, lost the place where I was at, and well, I did never receive the guardianship piece of paper.
Okay.
I never received that court order because I would have showed up like I was there in every
So that's why it says that you missed visitation and because, okay.
And those are things, like I said, when you talk about your family story in the family team meeting, you want to say everything about it because we don't know. Like I told you when I first came to your home and I told you to explain to me what happened with the 3 boys, and you told me, I honestly don't know. And that was something I brought back to Mel. I was like, and I vouch for you guys, and you have to understand that, is our intention was to not take Donica out of that home. That was not the intention. But things escalated the way they did, and you know why. And we're not going to touch that. We need to move forward and focus on Donica. So let's focus on some of your strengths. What makes you the person that you are, strong enough to get through the death of your son, strong enough to be where you are today, something that you recognize within yourself to be as a strength.
My grandma told me God would never put more on you than what you can bear.
Okay. And you seem to be a strong
and I'm bearing a heartache of a very old person.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want it no more. I don't want the heartache no more.
And we don't want you to have it.
You're just giving it to me.
We have a job to do. And our job right now is to work with you to get her back. If our intentions were different, we would let you know. Okay?
Can we just do it? Can you just give us the benefit of the doubt right now? Okay, you're having a new worker, so you can get over the fact that Emily took a Donica, okay? Lori has nothing to do with that. And her job is strictly to help you get the services that you need, to make sure you're doing them, to make sure you're seeing a Donica, to make sure everything happens so that every single time you go to court, we can say, well, she did this, well, she did that, well, she did this. And those are going to be all positive things, I can tell.
Understand it. For 2.5 years, for 2 years straight, we were sitting in a hospital celebrating Christmas. This would have been our first Christmas in a home with our own actual Christmas tree, with our own gifts. Y'all can't bring that back to me.
No, but we can strive for Christmas next year. We can strive for it. Because she's not gone. And you know that. Okay? So, can you...
It feels like she's gone.
I know it feels that way. But I'm telling you, she's not.
Well, but you're right. She's gone right now. I mean, let's call it what it is. She's not with you every day. And I can't imagine how hard that is for you.
Hey, I wonder why.
But
I
it's
wonder
not
why I have
permanent.
this separation anxiety and everything else.
It's not permanent. When I sit here and I promise you, and I've been pretty honest as I've been sitting here, I think.
Yes, you have.
When I promise you and tell you that Lori's job and her supervisor, or even if the worker changes for some reason after that, their sole purpose is to make sure Donica is safe where she is and to get her home to you. So as long as you don't give up, we don't give up. And even if you do give up, we still keep trying, and we still keep trying. When I tell you that this is a different agency than it was back then, I'm not making it up. I'm also going to tell you that, yes, you know what? Everywhere there's people that don't want to do their job. But I can tell you that Lori and her supervisor, Melissa, are not those people. And I can be honest about that, too, because there are sometimes cases get open, and I'm like, oh, geez, that's who it's going to. You have an excellent, excellent, excellent team that is going to be working with you. And I don't lie. Ms. Horne, I can tell you one thing is I do not lie. I'm honest, I'm open, and if you ask me a question, I'm going to be as honest as I can. So, I mean, and I'm asking you. You don't know me from anybody. I know you don't like me very much, and I don't blame you for that. I don't. And I don't take it personal either. You have to understand that, because I'm a person and I have a job. I'm two different people. But what I'm asking you is to give us a chance to show you that we want to help you. And it's going to be challenging. And it's, you know, it's going to be a lot to do. But you said, like you said before, already did it, you're psychological. You're going to do it. You're going to get there. You're going to do it.
I was doing it before y'all started.
I know you were. I know. I'm not saying you weren't. I'm not saying you weren't.
I needed to help to get over my son grieving. And now, it seems like that just took him the back burner again. It's my son. And that's why I've stayed so close to that little girl for a year. She's never been out my arms. She never spent the night anywhere. She's never been around strangers. She's never been at a babysitter. She's never been anywhere but near me. And I wonder why downstairs they just diagnosed me with separation anxiety. And shit like this that goes on that stops me from letting my kids go to strangers. Stop me from letting my kids go to daycares. But I'm the one that's bad because I won't let them out of my sight. It's people like y'all that just keep nagging.
Well, Well, I'm going to identify a strength that I think that you have, and that is hands down the love for your kids. I think that they give you the strength that you need to get to every day to get through this hard time that you're going through right now. Because I know that you know that there's light at the end of this tunnel, and it's her, okay? And that's a strength that I can identify within you. I can see it all over your face how much love you have for her. I really can.
I love her all my.
Yes, you do. And we can see that.
It's already enough. I've lost 3 for no reason.
And like I said, unfortunately, that is a non-negotiable for us. We can't change that. That is something that is in a court order.
Nobody can change the past, so why keep digging in it?
We can't change it. We don't even want to go there. That is part of your life. That is part of your story. That helps us learn about you.
Yes, what happened in July is a part of our past.
But it's part of your family's story, okay? Just like stuff that happened in your childhood. We would like to know about. Not now, but at the family team.
I don't want to know.
But it helps form the person that you are today, whether you had to overcome something, which...
I was in diapers.
Okay, so, and like I said,
when they snatched my boys, that's what came up.
Your past, when you were a child.
Yeah.
Okay. And like I said, this is all stuff that is beneficial to us in the family team meeting to learn more about who the person that you are and what makes you, okay? Because you've overcome a lot.
What makes me is my kids, and I'm losing every single one of them.
She's not here physically now, but we can't tell you enough that the goal is to be reunified with her. There is no secret goal. That is the goal, okay? And right now I want, like I said, the strength within you with the love for your children is something that we can identify, okay? So is there anything else that you think makes you who you are, the strong person that you are? You're doing services, that's a strength. You're going, right? You're trying. That's a strength. You gotta recognize that. Even without a court order, you're doing it. You already have the ball rolling, which is half the battle. Okay? So that's something that we recognize as a strength within you. You're doing the services. Okay?
But this is what's without you.
And that's a strength. Okay? And that's what we're
getting over this without you.
But we're here. And unfortunately, here we go back to the non-negotiables. We can't go anywhere. We are in your life, and all we can do is work towards getting out. Because we can't be in people's lives forever. Okay?
But it feels like you're always there.
I know.
Feels like a shadow.
And we don't want to be always there. But unfortunately, we are not going anywhere. Okay? All we can do is work with you to get the goal of Donica back into your home. Okay? So we'll move on to something that you feel that you need, your family needs. Besides Donica, besides having her home, because we've already recognized that as the outcome. The outcome is we want her home. Okay? So what is something that you feel your family needs? Do you feel that you need a job? Do you feel that you would benefit from domestic violence counseling?
Peace and quiet.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So we'll look at your need, that you feel like that's your need. We're going to take your strengths, and we're going to come up with a plan for you to get that. And I think a big part of it is going to be figuring out how to get us out of your life, right? I mean,
it's like you're always here.
And like I said,
I dream about you. I have nightmares about you. That's why I keep my daughter so fucking comfortable and next to me. I cooked Thanksgiving, and that's one of my I love to cook, and I didn't even enjoy it. One person that I'll forever spend a holiday with is my kids. And so far, every holiday, my kids has been ripped away from me.
and part of our goal is to make sure that she's back for those holidays.
and that it doesn't ever happen again.
because you have a baby on the way, okay? So that's our goal. We're moving towards reunification with her. We're not trying to do any side streets or, lie to you, be dishonest, like Mel said. We are being honest with you. This is the goal, and we need to do the steps to be able to get there, okay?
By the time we close your case, we want to have you so strong that we never get a call about you again.
Okay.
Or any, say, some people want to say, I'm going to leave the state. Any CPS agency, we want to get you to have the supports that you need so that you never, ever, ever, ever have to come across us again.
Tell me I took my boys. And that was the last of taking y'all.
But we don't want to take Donica forever.
Yeah, that's what they said in the beginning of my last case.
And I understand that you're not going to be able to start trusting us until you start seeing it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's okay.
I don't trust y'all,
That's
regardless
okay.
of what y'all say.
That's fine. As long as you go through the motions and do what you need to do, and you're cooperative with your worker, it's, like I said, do not allow the courts to say a bad word about you. Don't allow
The courts can't say a bad word about me now.
I'm saying if we'll go to the what could go wrong.
Wait, I'm sorry. Who's your attorney? Do you know?
Rodney Cunningham.
All right. Well, you have a good attorney. You do.
So what is this piece? The plan?
Yeah. So that's kind of like what I was talking about. We're going to take your needs, which is, as you identified, peace and quiet. We might come up with some more as a group. We're going to look at your strengths because we're going to come up with more strengths for you too. And we're going to brainstorm and we're going to make a plan of how to move forward.
And that plan is reunification.
But so we'll come up with maybe 3 things that need to be done at it by a time frame. It might be something that we have to do. It might be something that you have to do. It might be something that we have to do. More things that we have to do. But we're going to make a time frame, and what that does is we put it in writing, and that means you hold us to task and we hold you to task.
I do not want to fight again for 2.5 years for somebody to just say, forget it. We're taking her rights.
Can I ask you a question, Ms. Horne, honestly? And this is getting away from the prep a little, but I have an honest question, okay? If Jermaine doesn't do the services that he's supposed to do, are you going to stay with him, knowing that that might prevent you from getting your children? That's something that you're going to have to think about.
That's a what could go wrong.
I mean, that's...
I already told him.
I know you did. So you really, that's...
And it sucks because he's been the only one in my corner since I got hit in that fucking car. And you took me to get rid of somebody because y'all don't like him because of what his past is or what he did in July.
Not telling you to get rid of him if he doesn't do.
Well, we even gave him the chance to. We gave you the chance to not have Adonica taken.
Yeah, by getting rid of him.
But that didn't mean he was gone. It meant that he would have to do services to come back, and you could have stayed with Adonica. Adonica would be with you.
To get rid of him, the one that pays the bills, because welfare only pays my rent. That nice living room set you seen in there, that comes from him.
Mm-hmm. And it wasn't a forever thing. You have to understand that. When I wanted to implement that safety protection plan, it's not a forever thing.
He gets paid every week.
And you're more than welcome to meet up with him so he can help you out, because Adonica is his daughter.
How could he help me out if he had to pay these high behind rents out here to keep a roof over his head? Because y'all decide he's not good enough for me.
Nobody ever said that to you one time.
That's the way I see it.
It's the way you interpret it, yes. But that is not what was said to you. Okay? So we need to talk about what could go wrong. And unfortunately, Mr. Nelson dropping the ball and not doing services is something that could go wrong. Same with you. You could drop the ball and not do the services. That is something that could go wrong.
I'm not doing the services because y'all telling me to do it. I'm doing the services because I volunteered to walk in there and ask for help to get over my son's grievance. But now, I can't even have that in the forefront anymore.
Okay.
Our son's passing ripped us apart.
and you're dealing with that during counseling and ABH and everything that's going on with us. And we recognize that. You have to understand that. We recognize that you're doing services without us implementing them. But let's say there's a service that you don't agree with that's in a court order, and you're like, I don't see why.
What's the service?
Probably domestic violence counseling would be something that we would like you to go to because of the incident that had happened for you as a person.
Where was y'all at?
Like I said, we should have got a call, yes.
You should have got a call?
The ball, sure.
Well, the police report actually said they did call us, so they messed up. They knew they should have called us, and they messed up.
So here we are today.
Because the police report actually says Dyke was contacted. Brought to women's shelter. So they were wrong.
I was never went to
well,
women's
and
shelter.
I understand that, but that's what the police report says. So they know that that's what should have happened, and somebody over there did something wrong.
Well, maybe because they thought, because I've read the whole story down, maybe they thought, this is probably just something they get over.
Not when you're
We've
being
been
like that.
Stress.
Mm-mm.
Full-blown stress for 2.5 years.
Does not put an excuse for him to put a hand on you.
It's not an excuse.
No, it's not.
And he has apologized and we talked about it. All I'm saying is, how we expect to grow as soon as we get on good terms, y'all ripping us apart.
We want you to get services, him to get services. So if a situation is to come up in the future, when we're out of your life, that there's another way to handle it. Okay?
We figured that one out already.
That's fine. And I think it's...
And it didn't have nothing to do with counseling or anything else.
Okay. But I'm talking about things that could go wrong. Not saying that they are, and we hope that they're not. But these are things that could go wrong. Is us wanting you to do a service and you not wanting to do it. That is something that could go wrong.
I don't want to do domestic violence because I've done domestic violence in the past.
But if it's
and I don't give a shit about what they talk about because it's a bunch of bullshit.
Okay. But if it's in a court order, it's a non-negotiable.
The way the judge looked at it, I didn't think he really mattered about the TRO that was dismissed.
Okay. But it's dismissed. You did that. That's fine. But like I said, if, say, domestic violence is in the court order, whether for you as well as him being the batterer, that is a non-negotiable. But what could go wrong is you guys both don't go. That's something that could go wrong, okay? And what would it look like, your plan, okay? Let's say the ultimate goal is reunification, okay? And things go wrong. You guys split up, it's just you don't have a place to live.
I'll finally go ahead and take my child like he did before.
No. I'm talking about the what ifs. Because we have to touch those areas.
That is the what if.
But it could happen, right? It could happen.
And you will take my child like you did before.
No. But we need to figure out what could go wrong.
That is the situation that could go wrong. You just said it.
Right. And that is not something where we want to go.
No, then we need to come up with a plan B.
Right. That's why we touch that area. Because we know everything's not hunky-dory and people just throw up their hands and do what we say.
But that's what y'all act like.
No. We wouldn't be touching this area if we thought that. We know things go wrong. We know we come into people's lives and expect them to change it. Okay? But we were going to work with you, as well as Mr. Nelson, the best that we can, to be able to come up with a plan so that both of you are able to eventually have business together and both be reunified with Donica. That is what we ultimately want. But he has to be compliant with us.
So you might as well say he's about to lose his job and everything else around it.
No, because that is something, when he has his family team meeting, he's going to tell us his work schedule. He's going to tell us...
I can tell you that. He don't...
But that...
Majority of the time, he don't walk in until 6, 7 o'clock at night.
Right, but you have to
understand. You still expect him to do services and everything else.
I mean, unfortunately, like I said, there are not...
I mean, we're going to find services that work around his schedule the best that they can be. But he's going to have to... Yeah, he's going to have to give, Miss Horne.
I've looked.
Looked what?
I've looked. There's no services after 5 o'clock.
There is.
Which ones?
Well, it depends what services he is a non-negotiable for him. It really depends, and I don't know. But Mr. Nelson needs to be as compliant as you are, which is we commend you for. He needs to step up because he is dad, and you. I mean, as much as you are a team, you're doing what you have to do, and we are not going to, think any less of you if he leaves or what he doesn't do what he has to do. But you are mom, and you are doing what you have to do right now, and that is commendable, and that's a strength.
If he leaves, it's because of you.
You can't put that blame on us. That's fine. Like I said, you can do what you want. That's fine. But if he's dad and he cares about those kids, he will step up to the plate. You know that. Had this conversation with you during your visit, and he
has stepped up.
Right.
And that's why we haven't had any
So
more
is he going to come to court next week?
Yes, he will be.
Perfect. And that's a step.
The fact that he got to take a day off, and that's one less thing on his check, and we're already behind the bills and paying people back for that funeral last month.
But that's step one. He's going to go. And he needs to make sacrifices like you are.
Yeah, but I'm the one without the job. I don't want to take care of that little girl while he's at work.
Okay.
There is no daycares. There is no. I refuse to put her in a daycare. When he asked me to go ahead and put her in a daycare.
Okay.
I refused it.
Okay. So we talked about the what could go wrong. And what's the next steps?
We'll talk about the meeting. Next steps would be having another meeting, or, anytime you feel like things aren't going right, you can give Lori a call or her supervisor and be like, you know what, you guys aren't holding up your end, I'm holding up my end, I'm doing all the work and nobody's helping me, I want to meet again. So that's usually what next steps are.
Okay. So you have a visit on Thursday, right? Mm-hmm. From 11 to 1?
Mm-hmm.
Do it after.
Are you available? Okay. So we'll do the family team meeting after your visit with her? Okay. Now, the last piece, I guess, is a family team meeting. We, like to have, if you want like a refreshment or whatever, we can bring it there. We usually have like a, $20 budget or something like that.
Yeah, we usually get pizza or something like that. Do you like pizza? Do you pizza?
Donuts, orange juice,
sandwiches.
bagels. Your call.
I'm not allowed. I'm on a diet.
What are you allowed to eat?
Barely no sugars, barely no salts, barely any starch.
Okay, so just some water.
Pretty much.
Okay.
That's what I fight with every day.
Yeah.
How come?
Because I have eclectic behaviors in my every pregnancy.
Every single time?
She's having a boy.
At 20 weeks, that's when my blood pressure starts to skyrocket regardless of what I eat.
Okay.
So you have to be careful.
And my doctor already told me, keep calm. Because he knows about the situation too. Right. Keep calm. Don't let your blood pressure boil over. But how can you keep calm in this situation?
You're right. You are absolutely right. So you'll have your visit on Thursday from 11 to 1, and then me and Mel, and I'm going to try and contact your counselor to see if she's available. She can come upstairs, because I think she's a huge, I don't know if she's a support to you, but she knows your story. And that's
Would you like her to come?
Yes.
Okay, we'll invite her.
Anybody else?
I would like to reach out to my lawyer so he can hear this one.
Okay.
You want to see if Rodney can come?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think he's allowed to come.
Why not?
Because we are not allowed to speak with counsel. It's a law. I mean, it's not. That's why he communicates. Him and our attorney communicate with each other. We don't speak to him. He doesn't speak to us. Our attorney doesn't speak to you.
I'll just bring both of you, your attorney, and then.
Because they'll probably be in court, to be honest with you.
It's not available.
Not happen. Any other supports as far as, like, I know Mr.
I mean,
Nelson.
you can call Mr. Cunningham and let him know we're having a family team meeting. You can ask him if he can come and see what his response is.
I don't have a phone.
Did you bring your cell phone up?
No.
By chance? Mm-hmm. I mean, you can call. You can always use a phone here. There's a phone out there too.
So we'll have a family team meeting, and that's something that you can put as your needs, a cell phone, right?
Can you get one through welfare?
I've been trying.
I've been trying. Well, maybe we need to help you with
Depending
this.
on where they keep saying the address that I'm at is unmailable. Even though we getting it.
Okay. Well, this is all stuff that's part of the family team meeting. Okay. So we'll shoot for Thursday after your visit. And is your visit here?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, they won't let them come to my house. They won't let her come home.
All right. So, do you want to like take like a half-hour break after your visit, and then we'll meet up here, or like go get some fresh air, or are you good right at 1?
Good.
Okay. All right. So we'll meet you up here at 1 then on Thursday.
Sounds good. And I'll call. Is her name Sherry?
Mm-hmm.
Sherry. I'll call Sherry and see if she's available. If maybe not by person, maybe by phone.
But since she's just downstairs, she might be able to at least run up for a part of it.
Okay. And like I said, we're just going to focus on the main goal here. And we'll go from there.